Cigar Company is your one-stop shop for all your cigar needs. Whether that's a brand new humidor, a box of those new cigars you've been waiting for, a top-of-the-line cutter or lighter, a place to enjoy the finest cigars and spirits with friends, or the only cigars grown right here in the Sunshine State, we've got you covered. Come visit one of our retail locations for the ultimate cigar experience. Visit us online at coronacigar.com.
How about that cigar?
How about that cigar?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Corona Cigar Studios for episode 264 of How About That Cigar Live. Thank you so much for joining us live on Facebook, live on YouTube, live on Instagram, and live on
Rumble!
We so much appreciate you guys being with us this evening. Take just a minute, if you would, please. Share us out with your favorite Facebook cigar groups. Let everybody know we're live. Of course, join us in the comments. Let us know what you're smoking. Let us know what you're drinking. And if you're listening after the fact on the audio podcast, guys, thanks so much for making How About That Cigar a part of your regular audio podcast rotation. And click on all the big, beautiful buttons. The like button, the subscribe button, the follow button, the bell, so you don't miss anything we have going on.
And I learned something last night.
What's that?
You can unsubscribe and subscribe again.
You can. You can unsubscribe and subscribe again. The most important part is when you unsubscribe, you go back and click on the subscribe button again. But yeah, we really appreciate you guys, as always, being with us. And yeah, here in the Corona Cigar Studios, it's cold.
You know what? It's weird getting used to wearing pants again.
I know.
I'm just adjusting myself. I'm like, this don't even feel right. What the?
Yeah, it was a really hot summer, and now all of a sudden today, I don't think we even hit 50 degrees. So, I mean, what are you going to do? But it's
but at least the mosquitoes will be
all
gone,
the
right?
Mosquitoes are going to die tonight. So I'm happy about that.
Mosquitoes and the buck-cylinder bugs.
Yeah, and the horse flies.
Oh man,
forget about. I will not miss them, not one bit. So the Major League Baseball, the League Championship Series.
The National League's tie 1-1.
Yep.
And as the last time I checked, the Yankees were winning by.
Yeah, Yankees were shutting out the Dodgers. Cleveland. Dodgers National
The
League.
Guardians.
The Guardians. Yeah, it was 4-0 last time we looked a few minutes ago.
So my theory on this is the Mets playing the Yankees, I think, would be the best. Awesome for me, at least. Subway Series would be incredible.
Series, yeah.
But then you also have the Dodgers playing New York, so you have the whole East-West Coast stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not counting the Indians out, but the Guardians out by any means because they got a solid team.
They do have a solid team.
1-2 all year long.
You just never know what's going to happen. Yep. But the Yankees are not only a very talented team, they're playing very solid right now as a group.
And Judge hasn't even got off the bench yet.
And Judge hasn't even really
He's staying in the courtroom.
He hasn't done much.
So and then football, your Packers look pretty damn good.
Yeah, the Packers had a good game against the Cardinals. The Cardinals is pretty much a terrible team.
Yeah,
but we had a really good game against them. The Lions absolutely destroyed the Cowboys.
It was so beautiful. I was laughing the whole time.
It was ugly. It's kind of crazy to see how wonderful, how really, really good the NFC North is.
I know
the Bears. The Bears just killed this weekend
they
too.
Played the Jaguars.
Yeah, right? And Minnesota had a bye, but they're still unbeaten.
Yep. Well, next week we go Detroit. The Vikes play Detroit.
The Packers play the Texans, which they're also
solid team.
Very solid this season. The good thing is we play in Lambeau, but you still never know what's going to happen.
And hopefully the weather's dropping. That'll help you guys out.
I think, yeah, it'll be cooler. That definitely helps. Now, speaking of cooler, the NHL regular season is underway.
Hold on, we weren't done with football yet.
Oh, we're not done with football yet?
No, my Jets are losing to
the
Buffalo.
Jets. I was forgetting about it. Yeah, last time we checked it was but it was close. It was a close game. It was 13-10. Buffalo was up. Yeah, 13-10 Buffalo was up last time we checked. But I mean that's a close game. You want it to be a close game.
Yeah. No, we talked about that. I don't like my teams having close.
I know
games.
you want blowouts.
I want blowouts.
You want it to be 13-0.
Yeah, I just want to be able to relax and chill out and
and start pitching position players.
Yeah.
That's
instead of throwing shit at the screens and picking up the fridge and throwing it across the room. Yeah.
The Minnesota Wilds are off to the preseason was definitely better than a regular season. We're off to a 1-2 start. I mean, it's early, but I don't know. We'll see how it goes. They play again tomorrow night. So the Wild look okay so far.
It's such a long season.
But it's a really long season. They just have to pace themselves and be careful and hope that the key players
stay healthy.
As always with any team, really.
And the Lynx are 1-1 in the
Lynx are 1-1.
WNBA championship.
That first game was so. Full disclosure, I am not a fan of WNBA. I've literally never watched it until Thursday night. My wife and I were at a restaurant, and the game was on the TV, and we start getting into it. We start getting into the game, excited to watch it, and what a finish that first game was.
Yeah,
I mean, unbelievable that first game. And again, I don't follow WNBA, but that game was exciting to watch. So kudos to those players for putting on a good show, fighting, battling through all that stuff. It was a lot of fun to watch.
I think the Liberty are favored to win the title.
They are favored to win. Yeah. But
the Lynx pull another one off.
But it's a close. I think they're, from what the little bit I know of the two teams, I think it could end up being a back and forth series.
Nice.
We'll see how it goes. Thanks for reminding me about that, by the way. I forgot. That was a really, really a lot of fun to watch. So I think we should really quick before we get our special guest on, let's talk about this. What's in this beautiful glass right here? That is this evening's Spirit of Mystery, brought to us by our friends at Postania Cigars. Do you find yourself unsatisfied with the top 10 list from How About That Cigar? Are you wondering how cigars from Postania didn't make the HBTC list, but found their way onto other lists? Well, fortunately, you can be reminded every week with this Postania Cigars advertisement. Postania Cigars, the #1 unranked cigar in the industry.
Well, that right there is a rye that was given to us by Matt
Brugger.
Matt Brugger, one of
fellow Packer fan.
Yes, I was going to say that, but every time I say that, I kind of throw up in my mouth a little bit.
You'll get over it.
So thanks, Matt.
So this one's definitely got that kind of spicy rye aroma.
It's a rye. Well,
it hits like a medium higher proof. It's definitely, I don't think it's an 80 proof. I think it's probably in the 100 proof range, maybe a touch higher than 100 proof.
Maybe 97.
Oh, so a little lower so it's 97 proof. Okay. It's got good flavor to it. A little, not a ton of that rye spice, but a little bit of sweetness, a little bit of spice. I think it's pretty good. I'll keep drinking this throughout the show, as always, and we will reveal the Spirit of Mystery later in the show.
And thank you, Matt, for donating that. And if anybody wants to donate a bottle, just get a hold of me, and I'll make sure Matt gets his share.
We'll get it. You'll make
2 ounces by 2 ounces.
2 ounces at a time. 2 ounces at a time. That's right. All right, guys, let's get our special guests on to the show. And as always on How About That Cigar Live, special guests brought to us by our friends at Drew Estate. And for the first time ever, Drew Estate has given fans a sneak peek of the brand behind a Freestyle Live event pack. Deadwood Cigars, but consumers get to guess which of the Deadwood girls is making her debut. Each FSL pack is priced at $40 and includes 3 mystery premium cigars, a Freestyle Live torch lighter, cigar cutter, and ashtray. And of course, each pack comes with a QR code for entry into a sweepstakes featuring a grand prize of a Harley-Davidson Fat Boy 11. Second prize is a custom $4,500 humidor, and 10 lucky winners will snag a custom ashtray from Subculture Studios. For more information, please visit drewestate.com. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you would please put your hands together. Welcome to episode 264 of How About That Cigar Live from Freud Cigars. Gerald Tritt and Manny Diaz. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Good evening.
Hello, guys.
Good evening. So, Manny, first of all, we'd like to congratulate you on having your first son.
Thank you.
His brother.
Cheers for that.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers.
Salud.
Cheers to that. Salud. So, how old is your new boy, Manny?
Well, it was born last Wednesday at 1:36 a.m.
Oh,
fresh.
late
fresh.
night.
Yeah.
1:36 a.m.
Tell him what
Man.
time you got to the hospital.
I don't want to say it.
1:30.
The only thing I could say that, well, Gerald knows already, is white and blue eyes. So I'm a little bit concerned.
There you go. You just kind of went, whoo!
I have green eyes.
For the record, yeah.
I didn't notice that, Gerald. Thank you to letting me know.
He can call the hit team off now.
Yeah. So Manny, where are you broadcasting from?
I'm in Santiago, Dominican Republic.
Fantastic. And Gerald, where are you broadcasting from?
I'm in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada.
Oh, Canada.
And Manny, you're not smoking tonight. Trent, what are you
No,
smoking?
but I can drink.
There you go.
So what are you drinking?
What are you drinking?
I'm drinking a Maker's Mark French Oak.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
Manny believes in the adage, you can't drink all day if you don't start in the morning.
Amen.
Trent, what are you drinking and smoking?
I am smoking an Alter Ego Robusto.
Nice.
I'm drinking a Knob Creek 9-year-old.
Nice.
Oh, that's a really good one, Daryl.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. That's good Knob Creek right there.
I am smoking a Robusto Alter Ego as well. Oh, I got my own camera over here. And I am drinking my go-to Agua.
Go to. All right, and I am. I'm gonna get fired up. This lovely Freud cigar, Super Ego, the Lonsdale. So, and thanks to Raul for reaching into your humidor and snagging this bad boy for me. Very much appreciated. And I'm gonna light up this cigar right now on the Cigar Toast Cam. Cigar is the leading cigar accessory brand with innovative butane lighters, precision cigar cutting instruments, travel cases, and humidors. Each product is designed and manufactured with the utmost precision and attention to detail. The result is a range of products that exude quality and refinement, reflecting the brand's dedication to excellence. For more information, please visit Cigar.com. All right. I love it.
I've had a few of those Zykars confiscated by TSA.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think the people who work for TSA have the best lighter and pocket knife collections in the world.
Well,
I had a soft flame Zykar, and specifically because you're allowed to carry those in your backpack when you fly.
Yeah.
The person at TSA said, I need to see it light. I said, no, the flint is taken out. It's empty. That's why I can bring it on. Her boss told her that I was right, but said it was her call. And she said, no, I'm confiscating it. And
Unbelievable.
I said to her, I want to see you slam that lighter into the garbage.
Yeah.
Don't place it in there. Slam dunk it. I was so mad.
Hey, Joe, I remember last year, you remember when we released the Sigmund, the 50 by 7.5, the Sigmund Disruptor?
Yeah.
So I'm with my father. We're back from Greenwich, Connecticut, back to Dominican Republic. So we took our plane in Miami. We are passing through TSA, and my father had two Sigmund on his pocket. So one of the guys from TSA smokes cigars, and you can sometimes, you can feel like when someone smokes cigars, So the guy is looking at my father and like, sir, you're not allowed to bring those cigars with you. You have to leave those cigars here. So
What?
he took the cigars from his pocket, not even asked permission from my father, took the cigar from his pocket and put it in his pocket, like this. My father, the guy speaks Spanish, thank God. And my father is looking at him and say, you know what, let's do this right. And he took the cigar from his pocket and broke the cigars. Now it's a good shot. Thank you.
There you go. There you go. I like that.
So the funny thing is that Eladio, when he gives you a cigar, he presents it to you. He doesn't just say, here's a cigar. He presents it to you like that. And you have to accept it like that. So when you said he reached into his pocket, I thought he was going to present it to him properly. That's so great that he broke. He's like, no, if I can't smoke them, you can't smoke them.
Exactly. It's just that simple.
Well, one of the things that we love learning from people is, their sort of, their origin in the world of premium cigars. Manny, you've got, a family tree that's very, very well versed in the world of premium cigars. So, and then, so Manny, we want to hear from you first, and then Gerald, we want to hear about how you got in the business. But Manny, you've been fortunate to, have some people that so many cigar smokers, know the name of your family. So, tell us about, being raised with cigar tobacco all around you.
Thank you. Well, first of all, guys, it's a pleasure for us. I mean, Freud Cigar and myself, Gerald, to be here tonight. Thank you for your question. Hopefully you will enjoy this amazing interview. So from my case, I could tell you that I've been in the cigar industry since I have memory. I was born in 1989. I'm 35 years old, but since I have memory, every time we have a moment my father was smoking a cigar. I have asthma. So my mom was always like, hey, you have to be away from the cigar. It's not good for your health, blah, blah, blah. And, at the end, you always listen to your mother and you follow up the right path, just to say something.
Yeah.
So I used to be in the car business. I used to sell cars back 2011, 2013. And one day I decided to leave that business because I didn't see any way to grow in Dominican Republic being that type of business. So one day I'm at my parents' house. I'm at my room, and my father come to the room and say, "Hey, what are you going to do with your life?" And I was just looking to the roof, and I replied to him, "I have no idea." So he started looking at me and say, "Let's go to Pro Cigar Festival." As you know, guys, Pro Cigar Festival is an event that has been made since 2009, and rather a lot of people from the international business, handmade cigars and tobacco business, and it's been really success since then. So I replied to my father, why I'm going to Pro Cigar? I don't even smoke cigars. I don't know anybody. I don't want to go there. And my father replies, you're coming. And I'm just a kid. Of course, I'm not going to say back to my father, no, I'm not going.
Yeah.
So I say, okay, let's go, no problem. And let me tell you something. Every time if I know I'm going to any certain place, and I know I might meet important people, important entrepreneurs and stuff like that, I like to read about them all the time, to not have like a first impression that I'm not acting well, right? So I remember that we arrived at the event. I see all these baseball players, entrepreneurs, actors, and not just from the Dominican Republic, also around the world. I start getting really excited, like, oh my God. I was telling my father, like, look, this person is really famous. This guy's basketball, blah, blah. And my father like, yeah. Take it easy. I'm like, okay.
Take it easy.
So at the end, he asked me to grab a humidor with like 75, 100 cigars with me, which are his cigars, but with no bands on it. So I remember when we took our seat, we were really, really far away from the main entrance. You know, like, I feel like, okay, nobody was going to see us here. And I remember seeing all these cigar manufactury owners going to that table where was that famous entrepreneur, famous actor, famous baseball player, athlete. And those guys were coming to my father's table to say hi to him.
Yeah.
And that was back in 2011. And like, I started every time those guys came to my father's table, and my father replied, "Hi, thank you for coming. He's my son, Emmanuel Diaz. It's an honor for us that you are here." Which, by the way, guys, I didn't have my first cigar yet by that moment. By the way.
Okay. Okay.
I remember that after like 5, 6 people left our table, and they were coming to say just greet to my father. My father were giving us cigars. So then, as Kiera was saying, you know, like respect.
Yeah.
I look at my father and say, with all respect, I love you, but who the hell are you?
Oh, that's awesome.
So he just replied to me, "I'm just a tobacco roller who's always learning."
Yeah.
And I remember that I got an opportunity to travel to China. And remember, by that time, I didn't have a cigar yet, not even a single cigar. So we are at the airport. I'm telling you about, I might say, like a year later, March 2012. So we are at the airport, my brother, my mom, my father. First, my mom start looking at me, start crying. "Oh my God, my baby's leaving for 1 year to China, blah, blah, blah." My brothers give me a hug. "Hey, man, gonna miss you. You're the best. You're gonna be fine. Don't worry." And my father, you know, as your father, you're expecting a hug. "I love you. I'm so proud of you." Stuff like that. My father just look at me and say, "Chris, there's no need to talk. We're men." I'm like, okay. You know, I was expecting at least a hug.
Yeah.
And he gave me 2 bundles of cigars. That was his 54th anniversary. And he said, "Manny, this is a special cigar I make just for my friends, not for sale. So please give a cigar to someone that you understand that's going to appreciate a good smoke." So I replied to my father, "Dad, I don't even smoke cigar. How am I going to know that?" It's like, "Don't worry, you're going to be fine." Okay. So I took the bundle with me. Arrived in China. They hired me to be in charge for the foreigner customer who doesn't speak Chinese in the main cigar lounge in Shanghai. So after 3 months of my arrival, I'm at the shop. I'm waiting, you know, customer to arrive. We open 11 a.m. We close at 11 p.m. And I was about to close the shop. And one guy, a Chinese guy, was like a Chinese James Bond, wearing a nice tuxedo. He starts speaking with this British accent. "Excuse me, are you closing?" I'm like, "No, I mean, please." You know, as they say, customers always right. And this is a customer. You must treat them well, right?
Yeah.
So I say, "No, please, come in. No problem. Thank you." So I saw he has in his pocket 2 cigars. I'm like, that doesn't matter. So he ordered a bottle of rum, Havana Club Selección Maestro. That rum in China, you have to pay like 300% taxes. So you can imagine the price might be around $1,000. So the guy ordered a bottle for himself and took out one of the cigars from his pocket. When I saw the naked cigar, I'm like, that cigar looks from my father. Nah, man, you're in China. You don't even know how to go back to the Dominican Republic. It's impossible. Yeah, you're right. There's no way. You know, sometimes when people are drunk or they say too much bullshit or they say what they think.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the guy starts saying, "You know, they made the cigar especially for me in Dominican Republic." "Oh, really?" He didn't ask me what's my name, where I'm from, nothing. He doesn't know who I am. "Yeah, they made this cigar especially for me. You know the brand Davidoff?" I'm like, "Yeah, I heard that name before."
Yeah.
Well, they send me around 4,000 cigars every week for my own consumption. "Okay, good for you." "Yeah, you know Henky Kellner?" Yeah, the guru of cigars. "Yeah." he's the godfather of my kids. I'm like, oh, congratulations for you. And you know this guy, this prick, I don't know even how to pronounce his name. Aladio. I'm like, I took my phone. This is the remote control, just in case. I took my phone, like, oh, you mean this guy? Yes, Eladio. Man, he's a prick. He's a piece of shit. I hate that guy.
Wow.
But about blending, so I might kind of respect him, but he's an asshole, But like, yeah, I understand your point. So he ordered a second bottle of rum. When he's almost half of the second bottle, he smacked at the coffee table, say, you know what? If you get me one of these cigars, I'll give you $400. They made the cigar especially for me, for my 54th anniversary. So, I'm holding myself. I didn't say anything to the guy. I just told him, like, I'm going to do my best. So I went back to my apartment. I took 5 cigars of one of the 2 bombs I had at the apartment. Next day, I'm at the shop waiting for the guy. He didn't show up. 2 weeks later, the guy showed up. The same. Almost 11 p.m. or about o'clock. About Club Selección Maestros. Start drinking. That's crazy. After he finished the first bottle, he smacked at the coffee table. Hey, did you get me what I asked you? I'm like, well, yeah, I think so. So I gave the cigar to him the same way my father gave the cigar.
Yeah. So
the guy's like, where did you learn that? Internet, YouTube, stuff like that. And the guy's like, I have to admit, he knew how to smoke cigars, He started smoking cigar and like, this is the same cigar. Did you steal it from my house? No, I don't know where it lives. How did you get the cigar? So I replied to him, well, you say you've been in the Dominican Republic. Yes, every week. Yeah, I'm from the Dominican Republic. Oh, okay, yeah. And you've been in Santiago? Yeah, I'm from Santiago. Okay. And you know Davio Cigar? Yeah, of course. I mean, they send me 3,000-4,000 cigars every week, Okay, great. Good for you. And you say, Henry Kern? Yeah, he's the godfather of my kids. And you say, this guy, this prick, Eladio, wait, let me see. Eladio Diaz. Yes, man, he's a douchebag. Yeah, he's my father. So the guy is laughing as hell, but I wasn't laughing. And he's like, so you are his kid? Yeah, my name is Emmanuel Diaz. I'm the son of Eladio Diaz, master blender of Davio Cigar. That was the first time ever I saw a guy being drunk so sober so fast. Yeah. And then he changed his face like, I was in Dominican Republic in 2010, and I took the factory tour, Viaje del Origen, and I needed to go to the bathroom. And on my way to the bathroom, I saw your father. He invited me to his office and gave me 4 cigars. Your father is a lady of gentlemen. Yeah, thank you. Please, don't tell your father I say all this shit. Don't worry, man. Where's the 400?
Yeah, exactly. Oh shit, that is fantastic. God, I love it.
At the end, after a year, I came back to the Dominican Republic. I started working at La Aurora as a marketing assistant. So I was in charge of an international market. I spent almost 2 years working with them. Then after that, I joined EP Carrillo, where I spent almost 6 years. I was first marketing assistant, then marketing coordinator, and finally sales director for international sales. When I joined EP Carrillo in 2017, they were just at 8 countries. By the time I left, they were at 57. I have to admit, it was an amazing experience working in that company. If I learned something from the Perez Carrillo family, also from my father, is the fact that you could have the best cigar of the world, but if you're an asshole, you have the worst cigar of the world.
Yeah.
And some people, every time I say that comment, many people say, I don't agree with you. Sometimes you're even smoking a cigar. It's no cigar brand on it. And you say, wow, the cigar is really amazing. Mm-hmm. Who made that cigar? Oh, it's from Manny Diaz or Freud cigar. Oh, wow, it's not that good. You know, it's never second chances to cause a first good impression.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So they say the world is too small. If the world is small, the tobacco and cigars is smaller. So
Right.
you have to always make sure you have just one face in this business. So finally, I got the opportunity to join the Freud Cigar family back in 2022. I met Gerald. I teach him how to play golf. He wasn't really good at it. I also teach him how to play dominoes. Well, actually, he kicked my ass twice. First time I teach him, I can't get over that yet. So, and he also beat me on the sprint, but I'm gonna be fine. Don't worry, guys. So since then, we have developed so amazing blends for Freud Cigar, not just at Tabacalera Diaz Cabrera, also with William Ventura family. The first line release was the Super Eagle. Then with the Diaz Cabrera family was the Agape as a limited edition. But later I will explain you more about those different lines that we have so far, along with Zero. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
So, hold on a second, Manny. How long did it actually take you to smoke a cigar? When did you have your first cigar, and what was it?
Oh, thank you for asking. I was almost forgetting that part. You remember I told you at the beginning that every time I have the opportunity to be working in such a specific place, I like to learn everything behind. So in that way, I know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of trying to make up things, I don't know what I'm talking about. So when I joined the shop, I remember that was in, let me see, that was in May 2012. I leave in March, that was in May, yeah, May. So when I was there, I was already in charge of the foreigners at the shop. So I saw all the catalog, all the lines they were selling at the cigar lounge. Coiba, of course, I must say like 75% of the cigars were Cuban cigars,
Yeah.
A few brands from Dominican, Nicaragua, Mexico. And I decided to learn everything about Coiba because I knew Coiba was the like the top sales in that shop. So I remember a guy came to the shop. He's from the oil business. We're still really close friends and good friends so far. So his name is David, and he came to the shop and say, "Hey, hi, how are you? Oh, I'm Manuel Diaz, Manny Diaz. Okay, you are not Chinese, right? Well, thank God I'm not." And he say,
Doesn't mean that.
"Do you have Coiba Single Six?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we do have." "Okay, I'm planning to buy a box. Could you talk to me a little bit about the Coiba Single Six?" And I'm like, "Yeah, of course. Look, the Coiba will give you woody notes, creaminess, sweetness. At the back of your tongue, you're gonna be a little bit spicy. Wow, that's really amazing. Have you smoked that cigar?" "No, I don't smoke."
Yeah.
And the guy came close to me and say, "Let's smoke a cigar together. And please, for next time, don't ever tell anyone you don't smoke cigars." So my first cigar was the Davidoff 2000 on the aluminum tube.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I call
great
my
place to start.
by that time China, well, still have that issue, I think, but by that time didn't exist WhatsApp, or I could like make a video call or something, or use Google or Facebook.
Yeah.
Nothing of that exists in China. So I called my father by Skype, and he saw me smoking the Davidoff 2000, and he's like, "So you fly 10,000 miles from Dominican Republic to smoke a cigar in China instead of smoking with me. Good luck."
Well, one of the things also, because one of the most interesting things to me about the cigar business, especially, I mean, all businesses have elements of this, but the cigar business, especially, there's so many different people that go into making it work, from all the way from, the agronomists and the farmers to the people who harvest the tobacco, to the people who cure it, and then the people who ferment it, and the people who sort it, and the people who select it and roll it and package it, and all. There's so many different levels to it.
That's true.
And so I want to know from getting into Gerald's story, how you got your start in the cigar business and how that kind of led into the company that we now know as, how did you become a part of Freud Cigars?
So I should backtrack a bit. So we have, we're part of a larger group, a family office. We're venture capitalists. We've been in public markets for years. The principals, David Stadnick and George Safalas. This is around 2020. Actually, I'll backtrack even further. So 2018, 2019, we had a birthday party for David, and we had cigars, and everyone really enjoyed the cigars. And then we all went our merry ways. And then COVID hits, and David was in Greece, and he's sitting in Athens at a bar watching all the yachts come in, and his wife, Susie, who is I've known for over 30 years and is a gem of a person, but she can start a conversation with Attila the Hun. Like, she will talk to anybody. And all of a sudden, they're in Greece, they're smoking cigars, and she said, "This is really neat. I really like this." And David's like, "I like it too. Maybe we should do a cigar thing, just a little a cigar business." So she goes, "Do we have any?" Or he said, "Do we know anybody?" And so she said, "Actually, I know somebody who used to work with Davidoff. He's on the shelf right now. We might be able to talk to him." So David talked to this gentleman, and this gentleman said, "Oh yeah, it's easy business. It's great. It's luxury brands. It's all the things you like. It'd be easy. $150,000. You have your own cigar line." So they started talking about cigar names and potential branding exercises. And at the end of the day, we wanted to have a prolific cigar smoker as our sort of branding. And, Sigmund Freud smoked 20, 25 cigars a day.
Yeah.
You knew if you were going for a session with Sigmund Freud, you were in his office and there was a plume of smoke at the top of the room the entire time. And so that was how we came up with the name Freud. The $150,000 to enter into the business is about $2.5 million later, and we've got a cigar brand. So
yeah,
I ended up getting involved because we wanted to develop more than just a cigar brand.
Yeah,
we wanted to go into more luxury brands. My background is business entrepreneurial. I've been a partner in several businesses. I've been an investor in several public companies, private companies. And they asked me, initially they said, "What do you know about mezcal?" And I said, "I know a fair amount." And I gave them a white paper about a week later with everything about mezcal. And they said, "Do you think we could get a white label mezcal?" I said, "Yep." And they said, "Okay, so we've got our president of our cigar company. So he'll handle the cigar side. Can you handle the booze side?" I said, "No problem." So I said, "Okay." After a couple of months, they said, "You know what? We need you more involved in the cigar company if you're interested." So that's how I ended up involved in the cigar company. I've been a cigar smoker since my early to mid 20s. And, Manny, I don't actually think Manny and I have ever talked about this. I don't think I had a Dominican cigar in the first 15 years I smoked cigars. Because in Canada, we're fortunate in that we have easy access to Cuban cigars.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. I mean, my cigars of choice were generally Monte Cristos, Partagas, Partagas 898, Monte Cristo number 2s. And then I started getting into the Dominican cigars. And obviously through, Davidoff was the easy access because that was the known brand. And as we sort of, that was my intro into the business. As I got more involved in the cigar side of this business, I ended up doing my cigar sommelier's course so I could learn more about the process. Much like Manny, I don't like to be sort of blind walking into things. So I really tried to sort of educate myself about the cigar process, about the different leaves you use, the different type of growing regions, the different ways to do everything. And so it was a real education for me. And obviously, like I'll say this, I did the whole cigar sommelier course, the whole 9 yards, to learn everything I can. I learned more from Manny in about an hour having cocktails at the casino bar at Resorts World than I learned from anything else.
Oh wow.
Manny took one of our cigars and he pulled it apart, and he took each leaf out, and he showed us how these leaves burn, these leaves don't, how if you don't pack it right, this is what happens. If you pack it right, this is what happens. It was a real education, and you know, I enjoy smoking cigars. I enjoy what I really enjoy about cigars, and I say this to people because one of the things that I do is we have somebody on our advisory board who's in the whiskey space. So I've done a number of events with that person. So he talks whiskey, I talk cigars, and I always tell people, so you get home from a busy day at work, you pour yourself a drink, you have the drink. 2 hours later, you're 5 or 6 drinks in. I said, you take a cigar, you sit in your backyard like I'm doing right now, and you smoke a cigar. You have 1 or 2 drinks, and you can't rush a cigar.
Yeah.
You have to relax. You have to enjoy it. It becomes an experience. And that's what I really love about cigar smoking. I really love the camaraderie of the cigar industry. I really love, that when Eladio Diaz gives you a cigar, he's giving it to you with meaning, with feeling. It's not just a piece of commerce for him. It's a life passion. And so, with Freud, we got very lucky in that our original president, Luis Torres, knew Eladio, knew William Ventura, had the connections. We were lucky in that Davidoff decided to make changes, and Eladio was available. William Ventura, Weber Ventura were available. And from our perspective, we're not going to do anything unless it's done right.
Yeah.
And that was the key. So like that's how I got sort of, for lack of a better word, dragged into the cigar industry. Not that I minded. And the people
twist your arm, right?
Yeah, exactly. And the people you meet along the way, Manny's. Can you mute him so he can't hear what I'm about to say? Like, Manny is such a good person. Eladio is such a good person, and part of every business we've built within Static and Partners, within everything we've done, it's the people, and you can't get better people than guys like Manny, Eladio, Weber, William. You just can't. And so we've been blessed that we've got tremendous people working with us. We've got tremendous people that want to produce quality. They have no interest in producing just to produce and just say, okay, let's push it out and move on. They want to produce really top quality things.
Yeah.
So,
well, and Manny, I have to imagine that, since you didn't get involved in the family business at a really young age, that at some point when you knew that this is what you wanted to be involved with, that having your father to learn from, and not only be a father to you, but also be a mentor to you in terms of cigar tobacco, that's got to be, because you obviously, based on what you've learned and even the story you told us a minute ago, that cigar people just know your father. He's like a rock star in the world of premium hand-rolled cigars. And how did he go about mentoring you, to learn tobacco and learn the processes that go into quality products?
Well, before I reply to that question, to give you an answer, Gerald, remember we weren't having cocktails. It was whiskey and beer. Okay, no cocktails, no mojitos, nothing like that. Beer. Well, in my
Don't get
case,
me
I'm gonna
started,
tell you
man.
guys that actually, as I said before, I have asthma. Thank God it never affected me on the tobacco and cigar business. And this is something I learned from my father. Is like, if you want to be in this business, you must feel passionate about it. It's not like a master's degree that you go to college. Okay, and now I have a master's degree on cigars and tobacco. You must feel that you want to do it. You must feel that when you wake up, you're not like, oh my God, it's 8 a.m., almost 8 a.m. I need to go to the factory, deal with people. I hate that. No, it's no time for you. You just love it. It could be 4 or 5 hours talking about tobacco, talking about cigars, and you feel it's been just like 10 minutes. That's what the most important part I learned from my father. So I remember when after the pro cigar, I told my father, this is what I want to do. And he replies to me, are you sure? Yes. Okay. Then if you're going to do something, do it right.
Mm.
His meaning in that moment was, don't just go to the factory and say, hey, I'm the son of Elijah Diaz, and give me everything in your in my hands.
Yeah.
You must learn everything. So my first experience actually was at Leo Reyes, a tobacco processing company located in Navarrete. Leo Reyes is the brother of Fufi Reyes. Fufi Reyes from the Reyes Cigars, Saga Cigars. That family, the Reyes family, have been in the tobacco business over 100 years old already.
Mm.
I remember my father met him back in 1985 as a funny coincidence, actually. Why? Because my father, Tabadon Holding, Dominican Tobaccos, the cigar manufacturer who made Davidoff, but before that, they were making private brands. I'm talking to you back in 1984, February 16th of 1984. So Leo was actually his family, the Reyes family. Leo, in his case, he was a civil engineer. He used to make houses, make buildings, bridges, stuff like that. And one day his father called him, hey, I need you here on the tobacco industry, meaning on the tobacco business family. I mean, the family business. If you don't come here, we might lose the business because they were almost in bankruptcy. So I remember that Leo told me that one day he is in front of around 100 bales of tobacco. And he was really scared that the company would shut down because they didn't have any, money to keep the company growing.
Yeah.
So Leo looked at the sky and start praying and say, God, please send me an angel that's going to buy all this tobacco. If you do that, I promise you that I will take my kids, my wife, every Sunday to church to say thank you, to be grateful, and to appreciate everything I have in life. But just please give me a hand with this. At that moment, my father arrived and say, hey, Leo, I'm returning 15 bills of tobacco. They are a piece of shit. I cannot use for anything.
Mm.
So Leo, look at the sky again. God, you didn't understand what I say.
Oh, I love it.
My father look at Leo and say, what's that tobacco? Oh, that's Criollo 98, that variety of tobacco. How many you have? Like 100 bills. May I see it? Sure, no problem. So my father went to see the tobacco and say, I want it all. So he bought the 100 bills.
Nice.
So
Very nice.
when I told my father I wanted to learn from tobacco, he said, if you want to learn from tobacco, you cannot just go to a cigar shop and learn in the magazine. You need to understand where the tobacco comes from. So I spent almost 6 months working at Leo, even preparing fermentation process for tobacco. What do they do with the tobacco at the field? How they plant the tobacco, how they cure the tobacco, how they move all that curing tobacco to the tobacco factory, not cigar factory, tobacco factory.
Mm.
At the tobacco factory, the first fermentation. how long does it take the fermentation? Is the same fermentation for Maduro tobacco, for natural tobacco, for Connecticut tobacco? No, it's different timing. And of course, you need to follow up. It's like you have a big child, a big kid. And if you don't take care of it, you're done. So after those 6 months, I learned a lot with Leo Reyes. And then he took me to Williams Ventura factory. I'm talking to you back in 2012. That was even before, 2011. That was even before my flight to China. So at William, that was the first experience I had. And the promise I made to myself that is something my father wanted to show me. I will explain you what I'm talking about now. I remember that when I arrived at William Ventura factory, as soon as I arrived, the first guy who saw me was the guy in charge of the door. And the guy say, oh, that's Eladio Diaz's son. And so he starts spreading the comment inside of William Ventura factory. So since I went inside of the building, everybody was treating me with respect, even if they didn't know who I was. But they were doing that due to my father, not to who I was. Yeah. So I just ignored that part. So I remember my father left. He left me with William. I even called William Ventura my uncle. So he's teaching me how to make a cigar, what is filler, what is wrapper, what is binder. And all of a sudden, a customer arrived, big one. I was at my uncle's office with him. The guy knocked the door. My uncle opened the door. He says hi to him. They say hi each other. And then he said, my uncle said to the guy, he is Manny. The guy gave me his hand. He didn't even look at me like this, and keep talking to my uncle William. And I feel like, what the hell? After a while, the guy is actually in the tobacco business, not cigar business, tobacco business. He gave a cigar to William. Hey, try this cigar if it's my tobacco. So my uncle William starts smoking the cigar. I say, it's too bitter. It's too sour. I don't like the taste in the mouth. It's uncomfortable. And the guy replies, but actually I was at Eladio's office and he is smoking and he liked it. So William replied to him, I forgot to tell you, he is Manny. He's the son of Eladio. Oh, my pleasure. My name is blah, blah, blah. What are you doing tonight? Would you like to have dinner? You have breakfast already? I would like to introduce you to my wife. Let's hang out tonight.
Right.
I feel like, okay, so the guy wants to be next to me. Exactly.
Yeah.
The guy wants to have a conversation with me because I'm a cool guy or because who's my father. Yeah. So he's that dumb. And every time I have interviews or I do a factory tour, even when I was at AP Carrillo, La Aurora, I never introduced myself as the son of Eladio. Not because I'm not proud of him. Of course I'm proud of him. But it's not the same when people treat you because they have to.
Right.
Compared with they want to. Right. So I'd rather be in the part they want to, not in the part they have to.
Oh, yeah.
It's two different things. Mm-hmm. So at the end, that's one of the things that helped me to go through the process. If I tell you that I sat with my father and learned everything, I'm lying to you. I was always listening to any conversation he had with you guys, with Gerald, with David, at the moment, taking notes, listening carefully, and apply that to myself. Why? Because he always told to my mother, hey, if they want to be in this business, I'm not going to chase them to be here. They have to chase me. And I respect that from him a lot. I even remember that my first time being at Davidoff, I was maybe like 12 years old. My mom hates to see us, from the summer break, from the school. At the house doing nothing. She always wanted us to be doing something, like working.
Oh, yeah.
She says, I don't want a piece of shit in my house. Okay, no problem. So she took me to the factory. We used to live just behind that building. remember, Davidoff was up in 1984. They were located in Santiago, not in Villa González. So our house was just behind Davidoff building, or in this case, Tabadon building. So when I was 12 years old, my mom took me to the factory one afternoon. I might say like maybe 1 p.m., 1 to 6 p.m. She arrived at the factory and she said to the guy who take care of the door, "Hi, I'm Griselda. I'm the wife of Eladio Diaz." "Oh, you mean Eladio Diaz, small one or big one?" Because there are actually two brothers, you know. I have an uncle, which name is Eladio Diaz as well.
Yeah.
So they call my father Eladio Diaz, big guy. And they call my uncle Eladio Diaz, short guy. So she say, "Oh, the big one." "Oh, okay, no problem." So the guy treated me, you know, gave me a hat, gave me coffee, gave me water, Coca-Cola, and they had the instruction to take me to packing department to learn how to pack cigars on cellophane, stuff like that, banding the bag of cigar. So usually in the packing department, all the people who works there, they are women.
Yeah.
So when they saw me, "Oh my God, he's the son of Eladio. Yeah, I can see that. He's so cute, blah, blah, blah." And, you know, I start feeling myself like,
Okay.
you know, Mr. Money. And I remember every time my father arrived at the factory, he likes to go to every department to say good morning or good afternoon or good night. You know, a mode of respect. That's something I learned in my family.
Mhm.
So I remember that he went to the packing department. So I was there, and he said, "Good morning." You know, he has a really, you know, Gerald, he has a really tough voice, right?
Good morning.
So he's like, "Good morning." And all the ladies, "Hi, Mr. Eladio, blah, blah, blah." And I stand up and say, "Hi, Dad." You know, like my father.
Yeah.
And he looked back at me and say, "Mr. Eladio Diaz for you, sir."
Oh, knocked you down to
So
size.
I sat again on the table. Nobody was talking. My father left, and then the ladies started gossiping each other.
Yeah.
I think he's adopted.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's hilarious.
So in my case, again, yes, I did learn along. I'm still learning with him. It's something he always tell me. Sometimes people ask him like, "Hey, Elijah, what's your favorite cigar?" And he replies always, "I don't have a favorite cigars because
Amen.
the day I say this is my favorite cigar, then that's the day I'm gonna stop creating."
Yeah.
I even remember that I had the opportunity to meet the Freud cigar family and be part of it back in 2022. And I had the opportunity to meet Gerald. You remember Gerald at Saga? We had the first cigar
Yes.
together, along with my
Yes.
father and George and David.
Yes.
And since that moment, every time my father, he feels so connected with the Freud family that every time they release something, he connects the blend with that occasion, with that special occasion.
Yeah.
I even remember that since he was at Davidoff until 1984 to 2000, sorry, at Tabadon, 1984 until 2021, he creates around 3,400 different blends. All those blends have a name behind. He doesn't call the blends like, you know, like blend number 1, blend number 2. He might call it Freud blend or Gerald blend or my friend blend. Always a meaning behind. And one of the projects that we were working was when I joined the company in September 2022, I was just recently married, not even a year. And I arrived at the factory and my mood was, you know, like not positive beer around. And my dad is looking at me and say, "What's wrong with you?" "Ah, I'm okay, don't worry." "Tell me, I'm your father." I had a fight with my wife. "Okay, that's it." You know, he didn't say like, "You're gonna be okay, don't worry." No, just okay. I'm like, okay. That's it. No comments. After a whole day working, I might say around 5, almost 5 p.m. I say, "Hey, Dad, I'm leaving. I need to go to the bank, do this, blah, blah, blah." And he say, let's smoke a cigar together. Dad, I have no time. I have to go. Let's smoke a cigar together. Okay.
Yeah.
So he gave me a cigar. I started smoking, and what do you think? That was after like 20 minutes. I say, wow, this is really complex cigar. I mean, really intense. It's amazing how that explosion of flavors in the mouth. What's the name of the blend? Reconciliation.
Oh, wow.
I gave the cigar to my wife, and she's like, "Oh my God, this is amazing! What's the name?" Reconciliation. We should buy more often.
And now they have a baby.
That's right.
Exactly.
That's right.
Hey, Manny, going back to you and your dad, could you remember the first cigar you smoked with your father when you got back from China?
When I went back from China, the first cigar I had with him was the first cigar ever made at Dominican Republic for Davidoff. Davidoff Gran Cru.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's that's one of those classic blends that I mean so many of us remember the first time we smoked one of those, one of that blend.
Yeah, most of the time I'm gonna tell you guys that I might say 95% of the cigars I have with my father, there's never a band on it.
Right.
No band.
Exactly.
Because he says the people have the perception when they see the band in their heads. They maybe, if they like it, they will say this is gonna be amazing. If they don't like it, they will say, "Oh, no, probably it's not so good, but I'm gonna smoke it anyway because I don't have anything else to smoke."
Yeah.
So that's why he'd rather smoke the cigar without the band on it. And of course, he gave me the first step to learn how to appreciate a good smoke, because it's not just to take the puff on your mouth, it's also keep it in your mouth, take it out, and do a retrohale. Half mouth, half your nose.
Yeah.
I always gave example because many people say, "Oh, I've been smoking cigars for 15 years, and I never do the retrohale." And I say, it's easy. Just imagine yourself, it's the 15th of the month. You get your pay is $500, but you own to the credit card $2,000. What do you do?
Oh,
same example.
That's outstanding. I love that. Well, so I got a very specific question for Gerald, but really quick before I get to that question, we got a good viewer question from our good friend Oliver Naveau at United Cigar Company. Manny, he wants to know, what was the best or craziest thing that you ate in China?
Oh my God, why I need to remember that? Well, unfortunately, I had the experience to eat dog.
Doc?
Yeah, D-O-G, dog.
Dog. Oh, dog.
Oh, dog. Perro.
I didn't know. But for real, guys, I swear I didn't know. My friend, he's from Cuba. So he say, "Hey, I'm going to invite you for dinner." Like, okay, free dinner, good for me. So I went to the restaurant, and sometimes I'm a little bit slow to understand what's going on around. This restaurant, you can take the dog with you, and they will cook it the way you want it.
Oh my God! You can bring a live dog in.
Was it a Labradoodle?
Where's Misha? Where's my dog?
So I'm eating, and my friend he didn't eat anything, so he's laughing at me and say, "What do you think?" I thought it was cow, like a sour cow, something like that. Like it tastes like sour cow, maybe goat. Yeah, but you like the steak? It's a really prime steak. Yeah, I can sense it. So after I ate that, he took me back to my apartment. He stayed at the taxi and say, "Oh, I forgot to tell you the name of the restaurant." "Oh, what's the name?" "A dog restaurant." And he left.
Manny,
Oh my God.
Did the next time you whoop him, Next time you see him, you give him a little whooping.
Next time I see him, I'm gonna stop him. I'm gonna be in jail.
Yes, he deserves it.
Oh,
thank you.
That's so wrong.
Oh, yeah. If you're gonna take somebody to a dog restaurant, you let them know ahead of time.
No, because we won't eat it.
You're damn right. You're damn right. I won't eat it.
I'd honestly, I'd try to whoop his ass.
Oh yeah,
he's getting ass.
Yeah, he's getting his ass kicked.
He's getting his ass kicked. I'm getting my ass kicked, but he going to get it.
Yeah.
You know, the one thing I will say about Manny, he's always a good sport. He's always a good sport. He's taken some abuse from us, and he's always been a good sport.
That's not. Hold on, Trent. That's not being a good sport. That's wanting to whoop somebody's ass.
No, he's a good sport.
It's not a joke. We're not laughing about it. We ain't friends no more. Don't call me. I've had dogs ever since I was 5 years old. You better not feed me a dog. We're gonna have problems.
All right. So, Gerald, I want to know from you, because one of the experiences that all of us have in any kind of business that we get involved in is, we always have these experiences, honestly, it could be business or family or whatever, but we have these experiences that come along in our life where we get humbled, where it's like, oh, I don't know as much as I thought I knew. And that, I think in the long run, that's good for us, because it's good to learn what we don't know. It's good to know what you don't know, kind of thing. And it makes us stronger in the long run. So when you guys first started putting all this together, and then you were able to just in such an awesome way get really one of the best tobacco minds, ever, involved with Freud Cigar Company. When you first started having, sit downs with Eladio and sit downs with Manny and working through, ideas that you already had in place and visions that you already had in place. Can you name some of the spots where you're like, oh, wow, we weren't really where we thought we needed to be, and these guys kind of put us on the right path, because we all go through that. So what are a couple experiences that you guys had in starting this whole thing out where, you got sort of set straight in a nice way?
Well, in businesses, everyone knows, generally speaking, when you're in business, you get taught lessons the hard way, and it's through the pocketbook.
Okay.
And so, we're fortunate that we've got tremendous blenders. There's, first of all, Weber Ventura, who's doing some of our blending, and Eladio. Like, you could not ask for two better humans. Forget about their knowledge. Forget about the cigars they're blending. Two better humans. Like, they're great people, and Manny's a great person, and they're tireless in their promotion and work in the industry. But some of the things that we learned as a nascent brand, when you do a limited edition cigar, make sure it's a limited edition. We did the Sigmans, and we produced enough Sigmans as a limited edition run to supply a small nation, and that was a mistake, and it cost us in the pocketbook. But that being said, we have great cigars, and we have inventory of them. So from that perspective, what we really learned about this industry is that Manny alluded to it earlier, it's a big industry and a small industry at the same time. People, you get a reputation, you get to be known in the industry. We've definitely had our bumps and our bruises. We were stocked out on Super Ego for a few months, and that was not great for us. And we've got limited editions that seem to be unlimited, which we're working through. So those are just, and I'm just being very transparent and honest with you. It's learning the inventory cycles, the production cycles, and learning what the public wants. It's funny, in our Super Ego, in our first run of Super Egos, we had 4 different SKUs. One of them was a Magnum, a 660. And at the time, people were looking at us saying, why are you producing 660? Nobody smokes Magnums anymore, and nobody smokes these big gauges anymore. So we switched our Super Ego to a Bellicosa on our next inventory run. And everyone's like, where are the 660? We love the 660s. I mean, I couldn't make
That's
this
amazing.
right. And so, all of a sudden, and then we did a limited release in our secondary brand, Carlos and Maria, of a 660. And that sort of placated the business, because Weber Ventura, who did the Super Egos, also did the Orgasmos, the Carlos and Maria brand that we have. Yeah. But really what we're learning, my sort of take on life in general is you never stop learning, because if you stop learning, you're finished. I get up in the morning, I've 2-3 hours into the day, I've read pretty much every newspaper there is to read, done industry reads. I like to be informed. And so for us, the biggest learning curve for us is inventory management. We know we've got great partners. We know we're blending great cigars. We know we have a great product. We have great designs. We have great packaging. We have all of those. It's about understanding the marketplace and understanding the needs of the people and where the markets are going. And we rely heavily on Manny, Eladio, Weber, on those things, because they're the guys. As I said, and I never like to throw platitudes at Manny because they go directly to his head, and it's terrible. But he knows so much, and he is such a good asset to have in terms of his international contacts, in terms of the connection with Eladio, and really more than anything, we've learned inventory management. We have to be better on our inventory management, and that's just a business cycle decision, and that's something we had to learn. We're also in the luxury brand business, and one of the things that we've just launched, it was just bottled last week, was a bourbon.
Oh, very nice.
Really?
Yeah, we just did a bourbon. So one of the guys on our advisory board is a guy named Nate Ganapathy. Nate is one of the preeminent whiskey and bourbon wine judges in the world. He's an unbelievably knowledgeable guy. How we ended up getting to him, he was my beer league goalie 20 years ago. Not a joke. I ran into a mutual friend. He said, "Hey, have you spoken to Nate?" This is about 3 years ago. I said, "No." And he said, "Oh, you got to see what he's doing now." So he told me, and I ended up connecting with him. And Nate's funny. Nate said to me, we're having this conversation about what he's doing now. And at the time he had 80 or 90,000 followers on Instagram. So he said he started uptaking on Instagram, and he really likes whiskey. And he had 400 or 500 followers. And he got invited to something in New York City. And he said, "I can't afford to go. But what would Gerald do?" And I said, "Why would you say that?" And he goes, "Because I remember you and I had a beer after a game one night." And he said, "Whatever you do, make sure you go 100% in." So he said, "I maxed out my credit card." I'm like, "Why would you do that?" And he said, "I went to New York City." And he said, "By the time I got off the plane back in Vancouver, I had 5,000 followers. And the rest of it is history."
Wow.
So you guys are going to see something now nobody else has seen.
Oh, look at that.
Well, we'd much rather.
That's our bottling.
We'd much rather taste it than see it, by the way. But that's a different story. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah. We'll talk about that later. Yeah.
Maybe a spirit of mystery?
Spirit of mystery. It won't be a mystery. Well, it's mystery to you. It won't be to me. So I got a question. You being Canadian, our northern neighbors.
Yeah.
Does everybody in Canada play hockey?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a requirement.
Have you been to Canada?
No, I haven't.
You've never been to Canada?
No.
Oh my gosh,
No.
dude! You
Yeah,
gotta go.
they come out with pads and then stick in their hand and skates on their feet. Right out the womb.
So you guys are Minnesota.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many hockey players do you actually know in Minnesota?
At least 100. At least 100.
Shit ton.
Okay, how many do you know playing the NCAA or professional level?
2. I know personally 2.
So here's how infectious Canada can get with hockey. I know more players playing hockey in Minnesota than you do in the NCAA and professional hockey.
Yeah.
It's our sport. So
Yeah, it's a lifestyle. It's not. It's
Yeah.
It's
but
a
I'll
lifestyle.
tell you, my son who plays junior hockey, he has told me any number of times he would have loved to have played the Minnesota State Hockey Championships, the high school championships.
Oh,
It's second to none.
people take off work. Even people who don't have kids playing in the tournament, they take off work just to watch it on TV. It is one of the most fun. I don't care what kind of sports you're into. It doesn't matter what kind of sports you're into. The Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournament is the most fun you will ever have watching live sports on TV. It is an absolute blast.
He played last year with a kid from Minnesota.
Oh, nice.
And he said, like, when he got to Canada, when he got to Vancouver, he goes, you know, I was in Minnesota high school hockey. He was a rock star.
Yeah.
And he said, you come to Canada. And he goes, you're a guy from Minnesota that plays hockey.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a different world.
I think they should have left it one tier, but that's
okay. So David Floyd, I just saw something. We have something similar down here, East Tennessee, the Arby's Classic high school basketball teams from all over. I'm going to say this. I went to Nashville for the NHL draft. You guys got it going on in Nashville, Tennessee. In Nashville, Tennessee, you guys got it going on with hockey now.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a big market now. And the South Central United States has become more and more hockey centric over the last 15 years.
The other thing I should tell you regarding Tennessee is we're about a month away from launching the Elvis Presley cigar line.
What?
Yeah, you guys might have just gotten a scoop there.
Is that a shop exclusive, or is it
going to be a Tennessee exclusive or a Mississippi?
No, world,
worldwide?
no, North America,
worldwide. Okay,
yeah. We did a deal with the company that owns the marketing rights for Elvis Presley Enterprises.
Yeah,
and we're launching first edition Elvis. Probably in the next month or so. We've got our packaging done. We've got the first cigar rolled already and aging. I believe David was down in Dominican Republic a few weeks ago, our senior partner, and I think he's organized the second one with you guys with Eladio. Yeah, it's Elvis Cigars. It's coming.
That is fantastic. I absolutely love that.
Yeah,
I mean one of the most iconic names worldwide. You know, for the last 70 years.
Yeah, the first cigar is a Panatella, which is what Elvis smoked.
Okay.
So
that is fantastic.
We're very excited about that. Yeah.
Tell us tell us about the bourbon. We're going to backtrack a little bit. Tell us about the bourbon. Where's it going to be released to? What the retail price is, MRSP, whatever the hell it is, and then go into the Elvis and tell us what that's going to run. And are you just coming out one
everything we're doing? So we're a luxury brands company. So the bourbon, we're doing single cask releases. So the first cask has 150 bottles. That's it. And they're going to be in and around the $250 to $300 US range. 11-year-old single cask. I believe it's 111 proof. Done by Dream Spirits, Kentucky aged, Indiana raised it's a pretty exceptional item, handpicked by Nate Ganna. So he's the guy that he's our whiskey specialist. So we're gonna do that.
Save me a bottle, Gerald.
We're gonna be. I'll have trouble saving myself a bottle right now. But we're gonna be launching. We're gonna do single cask releases. Probably every other month, we're gonna release another cask of either bourbon, rye, single malt. We've got our hands on a single malt American whiskey that we're well. So yeah, the thing about our organization is we will not produce something that we will not partake in.
Yeah.
We're not about getting, anybody to roll the cigars and whatever. We're not about getting anybody to do the bourbon,
That's
whatever.
true.
We want, it has to be an experience. This industry is about experience. And if you can't sit back and enjoy a cigar and a bourbon or a whiskey or a tequila or a mezcal or whatever it is, you're missing the whole point of this business. And that's, at the end of the day, what we're all about is experiences. And the Elvis cigars, 1,000 boxes only. So once they're gone, they're gone. And then we'll go on to 2.0 or the Elvis Presley, I believe, is one of the names we're working on. We're working on a few different names. And obviously with Elvis Presley, we could produce 100 cigars just based on his songs alone.
Yeah.
Oh, easy. Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it takes having a blender like Eladio, having a blender like Weber, having a guy like Manny on our team that sells it. And Manny, one thing I should tell you about Manny, he's a sneaky son of a gun. Sneaky son of a gun. We were at TPE, one of those big cigar shows in Las Vegas, and there's a group of Asians come to our booth, and all of a sudden, Manny's speaking Chinese.
What?
We're like, what is going on here? They walk away from the booth, and he's like, yeah, they just ordered a bunch of cigars. I'm like, how do you know Chinese? He goes, I spent a little time in China.
Were they
Sneaky
asking?
son of a gun.
Were they asking which restaurant in Vegas served the best dog?
Oh.
They might have been.
Come on, man, don't do that to me, please.
Okay.
Don't do that.
I couldn't resist. I had to say it.
I should tell you, we had Eladio Diaz at our booth at PCA, one of the big cigar shows, and we go for dinner, and we go to a Mediterranean restaurant in Las Vegas, and we almost killed Eladio Diaz.
Oh.
Because he's allergic to seafood.
No.
Oh.
And we had to move him to the other side of the table because he's sitting there and he's having trouble breathing.
Oh man.
Yeah. Like that.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I think Hector was on that trip. We had to move him to the other side of the table. Yeah.
Well, from a blend perspective, because we want our viewers to learn a little bit about, especially your core lines, the bread and butter of Freud cigars. So just from a flavor and strength profile, kind of take our viewers and listeners through the blends and what they can expect as a cigar smoker.
I'll let Manny handle that one.
Yeah, Manny, please go ahead.
Well, for our lines, I will talk to you now about the Alter Ego. Alter Ego was a second release for Freud Cigar, which is being produced at Tabacalera Diaz Cabrera. Since I joined Freud Cigar Company, and at the same time when my father met them, and myself as well, we realized that they always wanted to have something unique, something special, something different. As you know, guys, to have something different in such a small business as tobacco and cigars, you might think it's difficult, but it's not. It depends about what you're looking for and how you provide that information to the consumer. In this case, the alter ego, why it makes it so special? Because the alter ego is a line we release with 3 different sizes, and the blend has something really special and unique. Tobacco from Peru.
Yeah.
That tobacco is called Pelo de Oro. To get that type of tobacco back in 2022, it was difficult. Why? Because the production was lower and lower. So my father saw the chance to keep at least 40, 50 bells in case that tobacco doesn't show up later. Or maybe it will show up later, but too late, maybe 5, 10 years later, and you never know what's going to happen. So I remember that we were at the office with David and George, and they were saying they wanted to do something that's going to be like the opposite experience with the superego. So that's how they came up with the alter ego, which is also an article from Sigmund Freud, just to let you know.
Yeah.
So that cigar have 3 different sizes. We have a Robusto size 5x50, a Toro 52x6, and a Alonso 43x15.5. That cigar has a wrapper, Negro San Andres, Mexico, binder, in this case, Sumatra, Indonesia. And that combination, along with the filter, 4 different filters, including Peru and other tobaccos from Dominican Republic, give you a total different experience. Why? When you combine tobaccos from Mexico, the tobacco from Mexico is sweet, it's creamy, but what you feel from at the beginning is spiciness. So the combination with the binder will help the wrapper, in this case, to change the perspective of the taste you're going to have in your mouth. For example, many people think if they're smoking a cigar that's Connecticut, from the beginning it's going to be like sour. Not necessary. It depends on what type of binder we'll have under the wrap. For example, if you have a Ecuador wrapper, a binder from Ecuador, creaminess and sweetness will be present. So in the case of alter ego, that Sumatra, Indonesia helps the Negro San Andres to transform, to become something that's just not gonna be spicy, but it's gonna explode, in this case, the taste of sweetness and creaminess. Of course, at the end of the smoke, you might feel a little bit spicy, and also depending about what you are combining or painting your cigar at the moment. In this case, the alter ego.
Yeah.
So that's the alter ego, which comes, as I say, in 3 different sizes. Besides that, the first line we produced at Tabacalera Diaz Cabrera was the Agape. That's a 54x5. That was produced in 2022. It was a limited edition of 3,500 boxes. Let me tell you guys, that cigar was a blast. I mean, myself, I still have at least 8 cigars with me. Not Gerald, I'm not going to give you 1 cigar, okay? So I still have at least 8 cigars with me. And believe me, that's one of the blends that we are most proud to produce at the factory.
Sorry to interrupt. I have to say this. Hold on. I have to say this. That is a cigar that every month it sits in the humidor, changes.
Okay.
It is. I think we're sold out of it now, but it is such an exceptional smoke. Like you can't. I can't speak highly enough of that cigar. From the time we first smoked it when it was 5-6 months old to now where it's 2.5 years old, it's such a different cigar.
Yeah.
I have two.
It gives that help. Thank you, Gerald, for the comment. I mean, it gives that help based on the fact that was, just to let you know, guys, that was the first cigar ever made at Tabacalera Diaz Cabrera, the Agape, 54x5. It has 5 different filters, wrapper and binder. We're talking about 7 different tobaccos. So you can imagine the complexity on that type of cigar, because it's not about how many different leaves it has, it's how you keep the consistency of the blend. And as Gerald say, how that blend keep in giving you a different impression every time you
evolving.
Smoke it.
It evolves.
Exactly. Thank you. It is amazing. Then, besides that, at Tabacalera Diaz Cabrera, another line we produced was the limited edition Sigmund Freud 50 by 7.5, the one Gerald that just mentioned. We made the release in honor for Sigmund's birthday. All the boxes were signed by hand with the limited number of 3,500 boxes of 10 cigars. It is a heavy box. It has an outstanding animation presentation in terms of strength from 1 to 10. I will tell you it's like 7.5. Not sure if you think the same, Gerald. That's the perception I have.
Yeah.
For that
I
special
agree with
blend.
that. Yeah.
For that special blend. And many people think, because of the wrapper, many people think, oh, that's a band wrapper. That's maybe a Negro Andres. It's Corojo.
Okay.
It's good to know that the wrapper is a crop from 2016. That's why we say it's a limited edition, because when you say it's a limited edition, it must have a reason why it's a limited edition.
Yeah.
Do any company say that had tobacco from 2016, 2018, they must have a lot of money to keep that tobacco for so long,
Right.
aging over there. Keep in mind that maybe one Sunday, one Saturday, a big heat will come and burn all that tobacco.
Yeah.
That's why it's something special. That's why we could say, yeah, this is a limited edition, because even if tomorrow they say, hey, I need 100,000 more, it's not possible, because that crop is from 2016. So the color of that wrapper makes it special. It's really important to keep in mind, guys, that you could have a cigar that is a Connecticut wrapper, but when you see the wrapper, it's really dark, and you say, nah, cannot be a Connecticut because it's too dark. Remember, the tobacco from the top of the plant, as long as sun take, it will be darker.
Yeah.
So it could be a Connecticut.
Yeah.
It's depending about how they treat the tobacco. That's why it's really important, and that's why Freud Cigar Company always let the consumer knows that you could have a cigar with a really dark wrapper. It doesn't mean it's a strong cigar. The color of the wrapper do not tell you strength.
Yeah.
A big cigar, 6x60, do not tell you strength. It's about what you have inside of the cigar. What proportion, percentage of tobacco, in this case, ligero, piso, seco, you have inside of the cigar. And yes, depending about how many different leaves you have inside of the cigar, you will know what's the strength of the cigar. That's why every time we know people that want to smoke a cigar, they say they don't do a retrohale, then they will never know what's the strength of the cigar.
Right.
I believe your cigar is going to kill you. But if you don't do the retrohale, of course you're going to be fine. You might say, oh, I'm smoking a Marlboro. It's really soft.
So I think I have a question for Raul.
Is it?
Do you think it's time?
I think it's, well, actually, I got one other question.
Okay. Yeah. That's why I asked that.
I might say this wrong because I do it all the time, but tell us about the Carlos Maria. I know that's not is that a Freud? Is that a Freud?
It's a Freud adjacent.
Adjacent.
Freud
okay.
adjacent. I like that. Freud adjacent.
Yeah, same ownership. Okay, so I'll say this: we had one of the founding president of the company who's no longer with the company. We were having a discussion with him about cigars, and we basically, through the course of the conversation, he said it's very difficult to produce a cigar. And we said, okay. I said, we understand that. But, we think we could do one. And we didn't even tell him. We didn't tell anybody.
Not even me.
Not even Manny. Manny walked into the PCA booth and he said, "What are these?" This was.
I didn't know.
This was literally we said we think we could get a cigar. It was basically so. Okay, I'm gonna backtrack a bit. Manny and I at the PCA show, we were at 8 Lounge in Las Vegas, and Manny said he wanted to lose some weight. So you'll understand the genesis of the Carlos and Maria. And he said, "You want to lose some weight?" And I said, "How much weight do you want to lose?" And he told me 25 pounds. And I said, "Okay, how much you weigh?" He told me I'm 15 pounds heavier. I said, "I'll lose the same amount of weight by the same day." So I had to lose an extra 15 pounds. So one of the things with our organization is when you tell us you can't, it's difficult to do, our tendency is to lean into that.
Oh, yeah.
And so we were told by our founding president it was difficult to do. So we leaned into that and we produced Carlos and Maria. And it was Weber Ventura produced it for us, 4 different SKUs, and then plus the limited edition Orgasmo. And really what Carlos and Maria is it represents a love story. So agape, the meaning of agape is like sort of unfettered or unrequited love.
Yeah.
And Carlos and Maria was a love story, like a Romeo and Juliet type love story.
Okay.
And so we came up with Amorio, and then our next one is Orgasmo. So Amorio is like the love affair. Orgasmo is the passion. And then
What's the meaning of orgasmo?
The third one that we end up releasing will be the the Carlos and Maria version of Reconciliation. So that's sort of where it came from. And again, Weber was the guy that produced those cigars, 4 different SKUs. It's funny, we've never advertised in Cigar Aficionado. We've never done any press with them in particular, and they rated our Corona Gorda Carlos and Maria Morio 92 points. Not that that's good, bad, or indifferent, but it was just funny because we never even presented it to them to try to get a rating from them. They just went about it on their own.
Yeah.
And it's a testament to our blending partners. We have top shelf blending partners, guys that are the best in the game, and they produce cigars that are a great cigar.
Yeah.
And that we will always defer to the experts on the matter. We will always defer, we've been working on a collaboration with something for the last number of months, and Manny has sent me samples and tested me on samples, and it finally came to fruition. And he said, "What do you want to do?" I said, "I want to use this blend." He said, "Okay, great, done." Because I will never know as much as Manny or Eladio or Weber or William. I just never will. It's important for us to understand we have good partners that produce excellent products that are good for everybody. And the Carlos and Maria line is, so as I said, it's a Freud adjacent line. We're very proud of that line. It's got great cigars. The limited edition Orgasmo, the Magnum that nobody seemed to want, has been great for us. And it's just it's a different line entirely. And at some point, I'm sure that Eladio will produce a cigar for Carlos and Maria as well, because he's Eladio Diaz. And I reference back to a long form interview that Cigar Aficionado did with Eladio and our president at the time, Luis Torres. And they asked Eladio, of all the Davidoff cigars, what have you had an impact on? And Eladio, in his best Eladio voice, said all of them.
That's great.
So
that's fantastic.
And for us, it's about the people that we're involved in with and making sure that those people are the best in the game. And we've got that. We've got that with Manny. We've got that with Eladio, with Weber, with William, with our distributor in the U.S., Illusione. Like we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it right.
Yeah.
And that's been our whole approach to everything we've done with both brands.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
Cheers for that, guys.
Salud.
Yeah, cheers. Salud. I've only got a couple sips left of this. So,
more.
is it
It's
Is
time.
it time? All right, guys. It is now time for this week's
Numero de los Muertos.
And as always, Numero de los Muertos is brought to us by our friends at Smoke Inn.
I'm Steve here with the GOAT to tell you about Smoke Inn's Cigar of the Month Club. Every month, I personally handpick 5 premium cigars. Another great feature is our Double Down Club. With a simple check mark, you can get double this great selections every month and save $10. Every month, there's a special discount code where if you like any of the selections, you can get them at a special discounted rate for our Cigar of the Month Club members. We've made it super simple. All you gotta do is log into your account. There's a little green button there. If it's green, you're active. You want to take a break, going out of town, simply hit the button and you'll deactivate your membership. We get the stuff out on the 28th of every month. Our membership bills on the 28th, and we get every member's package out on the 28th if it's a shipping day. All delivered to your door for $34.95. 5 great reasons on what makes Smoking Cigar of the Month Club the best club out there. Check it out. Peace.
All right. Numero de los Muertos, episode number 264. So, guys, if you haven't seen the show before, I know it's your first time for both of you on the show. This is a really weird segment that we do every week, but
Our fans love
our fans, it's absolutely a fan favorite. So the strange part about it is basically I'm going to give a number, and this number is basically how many people died from this particular thing. It could be a disease, it could be an activity, it could be who knows what. But we and you guys, along with our viewers in the comments, get to sort of put 20 questions to break it down to try to decipher what this number is all about. And we already have like a dozen guesses in the comments.
death by eating dogs.
So I'll say that this number averages between 40 and 50 people per year in North America. So
Yeah,
that's the number this week. It's between 40 and 50 people die from this in North America every year. No, it's not death by choking on chicken bones. It's not death by eating dog. Not death by hockey. Driving on Dominican roads.
Well, that's true. That's a possibility, you know.
It's dangerous driving on Dominican
Way
roads.
more than 40 or 50 people.
It's not freezing to death.
Land or sea. Or
So the key is, you guys know this, and Manny and Gerald, you guys, it's breaking it down. It's asking like breakdown questions with purpose behind them. Death while watching Packer games.
That's what it's almost happened to me a couple of times. I usually throw up in my mouth when I watch them in that ugly green suit.
I mean, it's only the best team in the history of professional football, but it's okay. It's okay.
Choking on Halloween candy.
Nope.
Dry drowning.
Dry
Drowning. Like trying to drown your puke.
Nope.
What's dry drowning?
Dry drowning is when you are stuck in a submersible and you can't get out. And so as you're breathing in oxygen, out CO2, eventually there's too much CO2 in the closed area, and you actually die from inhaling the CO2. It's called dry drowning.
Oh, that's horrifying. No, that's not the answer this week. That's horrifying. I may have to add that one of these days in the future.
Playing back golf.
What's that?
Playing back golf.
Playing back.
You survived that. You survived that, man.
All right. So David Floyd says land or sea. It is water. These are not on land. This is on the water. Firearms are not involved, Kelly. Sitting on the toilet like Elvis. No, I think that was sadly a one-off that got Elvis.
About that one.
Hit by a car while trick-or-treating. No, this is water. These are water-related deaths.
Well, is it on ice?
Death by Mountie.
Is it on
No,
ice?
we love the
The Canadian Mounies.
yeah.
Falling off.
Frozen or is it liquid?
This is
Sea-Doo?
liquid water,
Liquid water.
not ice
Is it-
related.
Is it falling off a Sidhu?
You know what, Gerald? I'm going to give it to you.
Wow.
I'm going to give it to you. So it is what are referred to by a lot of people as jet skis.
Mm-hmm.
Jet skis, okay.
Yeah. So in North America, around 40 to 50 people die each year in jet ski accidents. And
Hey.
there are also between 600 and 700 non-fatal injuries. The number of deaths has decreased in recent years due to safety measures and awareness campaigns. Most of them, guess what the cause of most jet ski accidents is?
What?
Oh,
Alcohol.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Don't if you're riding your jet ski around the lake or the ocean, don't drink before you do it. And the other one is the age group. The vast majority, what would you say the age group is for the vast majority of jet ski injuries?
30 to
18
45.
to 25.
35 to 45.
18 to 25.
It's 30
60.
to 39 years old.
30 to 39?
Yeah.
Because you're cocky enough to think you can get away with drinking
Yes.
and doing it.
Correct.
You know,
Yeah.
I'll be okay. I've done this before.
So
I'm James Bond in the jet ski.
I'm in Vancouver, but 3.5 hours east of us is the Okanagan, which is a huge lake and cottage country. And every year I go up there, visit friends who have places up there, stay up there for a few days. And I see people ripping around on the jet skis. And you just know they don't know what they don't know.
Yep.
And you're just
Exactly.
waiting. Yeah. So
Yeah,
all
it's
right,
an
there you
accident waiting to happen. It's an accident waiting to happen.
waiting to happen.
And I've had fun on jet skis before. You know, they can have fun. They can be a good time. My wife, I will never forget on our honeymoon. My wife and I, we were in somewhere in the Caribbean, like Barbados or something like that, and we rented jet skis. And we rented a jet ski. She wanted us to rent two, and I was like, God, those prices are so steep. And we were just married. We didn't really have a pot to piss in, so it's like every penny is tight. It's like, we're going to rent one. I'll take a turn driving, and then you take a turn driving. And so I let her drive first. And, we're puttering around, and it was fun. But then I get on there, and I get in the front, and she sits behind me, and she says, "Don't you dare dump us over." And I went batshit crazy on that thing. And yeah, sure as shit, I dumped us over at least twice. And then after the second time, she's like, "I'm not getting back on that thing." And it was, but still, we had an absolute blast.
My wife and I did that in the we were at Cayman Island, 6 Mile Beach.
Mm.
And we rented a jet ski, and the same thing. I'm riding behind her, we're going 6 miles an hour, floating, we're getting taken out by the tide.
Yeah.
And then front seat, within 30 seconds, she's off the back.
Oh,
and we're still married.
There you go. Yeah, there you go. See, that's what matters. I like Rich Jordan's comment, and he's totally right. Jet ski accidents are usually preceded by the phrase, "Hold my beer." A lot of accidents are preceded by that phrase. Yeah, that's absolutely true. All right, so that was this week's Numero de los Muertos. All right, so as you can see, this glass is empty. That means it's time to reveal this week's Spirit of Mystery, brought to you by Postani Cigars. I will say, because I finished the glass, this was a nice pour. It wasn't one of my favorites, but I'd say this is it's a serviceable, good rye that for somebody who is really a rye person, this one's going to be right up their alley. So, okay, so I'm looking at Far North Spirits. Rocknar Minnesota rye whiskey, cognac cask finish. Okay, I didn't really get the cask finish, but that's okay. 94 proof. So yeah, it was a nice pour. I think it's more of a cocktail rye than it is a straight rye, but definitely one that I would return to. I think it's, and I love the fact that it's a local distillery. You know, anytime, you know, if there's a Minnesota distillery or brewery doing good stuff, I say I'm all for it. So yeah, very nice. And thank you, Matt Brugger, for that, for this week's Spirit of Mystery. Very much appreciated. All right, let's jump into the lightning round, brought to us by our friends at J.C. Newman Cigar Company. Is America's oldest family-owned premium cigar maker, creators of the popular Brick House, Perla Del Mar, Diamond Crown, and The American. J.C. Newman Cigar Company operates out of their 113-year-old El Reloj Cigar Factory in historic Cigar City, Tampa, Florida. For more information on their cigars or visitor experience, please visit jcnewman.com. All right. So, gentlemen, these are some fun non-cigar related questions that we're going to throw your way. I'm going to start with Gerald on this first question. So, Gerald, if you were about to get into a fight, what would your soundtrack music be?
Oh, probably Let's Get It Started.
Oh, that's a very good choice. Very good choice. Manny, what about you?
Well, the one from Rocky.
Oh yeah, that is, I think, maybe the most popular answer. It's such a classic fight song. It just works. It just works. All right, Raul, this has become one of my favorite questions.
Manny, what is the most underrated or overrated overrated fast food out there?
In the Dominican Republic?
Or in the States,
wherever,
or in China,
one.
or China. It's McDog or
Well, that's a tricky question, I might say. Well, in my case, I might say seafood because I'm allergic to.
Oh yeah. So are you? Seafood is tough because some people love it, some people hate it, some people can't eat it because they'll die. You know, there's
exactly.
that.
But most fast food, fish or shrimp, is not that good.
Yeah.
Period. Yeah. So you just hit it all
because it's been sitting in a freezer probably for weeks, and then it gets to the restaurant. They just throw it in a deep fryer and push it out there.
So what's the most underrated fast food out there?
Tacos.
Oh yeah, places that make good tacos. Yeah, forget about it. There was so my wife, she started pouring beer at this local microbrewery, and just for fun, really. I mean, she makes a few bucks at it, but she just has a blast doing it. And they have food trucks all the time. And crazy, awesome food truck. Just the other day, I was out there, and they had these. They had so many different things to choose from, but their carnitas was insanely good. Like, they knew what they were doing. Legit.
So, Trent, what is the most overrated and underrated fast food franchise out there? And you can say McCaribou if you want.
No, you know what? Overrated. I'm gonna say Five Guys.
Yeah. I love their fries, but I really don't like their burgers.
I don't like their fries.
Really?
They're soggy.
Oh, I like their fries, but their burgers I don't care for.
I agree with you there.
What, Gerald, do you just think it's all overrated, or is it just the burgers, or what?
So full disclosure, another business I own is a burger place.
Oh, right on.
So I'll say this. They don't do anything special with their burgers.
Yeah,
I find a lot of the growth of the gourmet burger industry is a lot of them are just here, try our meat, and we add salt and pepper to it, and we flat top it.
Yeah,
you can make that at home any day of the week.
mm-hmm.
You know, you're not surprising me with anything here. So that's why I say it's overrated, because I can make it at home. If I can make it at home, then why am I paying money for it? That's my sort of.
Yeah, good point.
So what's the most underrated fast food franchise out there?
Fast food franchise. Jersey Mike's.
Oh, I agree. We are big fans of Jersey Mike's.
Great job. And, you know, obviously, I mean, they're very popular, but people don't. To make what it's a very simple product what they make, but they make it with excellence every time. And I haven't been to a Jersey Mike's yet where I've eaten it and been like, oh, this just doesn't work. So Jersey Mike's.
So before we go any further, Allison, can you put her BS comment up here? How the hell do you think Buc-ee's is overrated? It is phenomenal. Everything in Buc-ee's is amazing.
I've never been to
What is Buc-ee's?
Buc-ee's is like a gas station on steroids.
Oh, see, that's
food
right
there.
up my alley.
They make their own food there. They have all their own popcorn, gummy bears, everything is all made by them. They have a million what do you call those? Gas pumps.
Yeah.
Gas pumps. They got their own clothing. That place is amazing.
Yeah, I mean they're legendary. I've still never been to one because they're mostly in the southern US. And I don't travel nearly as much as I used to, but they're sort of legendary because they're like they're these massive truck stops that they all have not only the truck stop and gas station, they have full grocery stores and like 7 or 8 restaurants all under one roof.
But do they also have a liquor store?
I believe so, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, well, so I was at one and I walk in and they got 1942 Don Julio. And I'm like, this is a truck stop in the middle of nowhere. What are they doing with this stuff?
So Matt, I'll be in Texas this weekend. I'm driving back. I'll bring us some Buc-ee stuff.
All right. That'll be cool.
Where are you going in Texas?
Yeah.
Trucks are not allowed. Well, there's now, Allison. Now there's I think 1 or 2 that actually have a truck stop.
Oh, so they're not truck
just
stops. They're just gas. Okay. So what part of Texas are you going to? Houston.
But I'm driving up back by Dallas. I'll hit about 3 or 4 of those Buc-ee's on the way home.
Oh, this is a road trip. This is not a flight.
We're flying down there and then we're driving back.
All right.
Are you going to hit Industrial Cigars?
I'm with the wife.
Okay. I get it.
No,
That's why I'm out in my backyard, not in my living room.
Yep.
All right. So this next question is one of our favorites. Gerald, let's start with you. The zombies are coming. You get to choose 3 people from the cigar industry to be on your zombie apocalypse survival team. Who do you choose and why?
I choose Hector Diaz, Alex Diaz.
I hate you, Gerald.
I choose Eladio Diaz, Manny Diaz, and Weaver Ventura.
There you go. Excellent choices. Very, very
why?
Very pragmatic choices.
Because I need guys that can make cigars afterwards, and I need somebody to sell them.
There you go. Yeah, that'll be the new, because money won't be worth anything after the zombie apocalypse. So you're going to have means of trade. You're going to have cigars and booze and
sell the cigars to the zombies. Good idea.
Yeah. There you go. All right. So Manny, you get to also choose 3 people from the cigar industry to help you fight off the zombie horde. Who are you going to pick?
Well, I would choose first my father, of course.
Oh yeah.
I would choose my father. Then I'm gonna choose David Stacknick, and then I'm gonna choose George. Gerald, I trust you. I know you're gonna survive there. I know you're a tough guy. You know.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right. Gerald is a survivor. He's
Exactly.
yeah, and
I know he could buy a beer, no problem.
yeah. Well, and I think Gerald probably has some hockey gear somewhere stowed around the house. So hockey sticks, skates
I got
with
some
sharp
hockey sticks and
blades.
skates. Yeah.
Yeah, you're good. I think you're good. And when winter hits, you can skate across, bodies of water that the zombies can't get across.
Well, they're going to be frozen
Absolutely.
anyway.
Yeah, the zombies won't be able to move. They'll be frozen.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's jump into this week's Notable Smokables. Notable Smokables brought to us by Don Doroteo Cigars, a brand with both purpose and passion, dedicated to creating change from within. By developing their own land, they are able to own the entire process throughout the life cycle of the plant. They methodically carry out each step, ensuring that the final product is of the finest quality. The new Salt of the Earth lines, Piedra Viva and Piedra Angular, are available now at Don Doroteo retail partners. Visit dondoroteo.com to learn more. All right. So, guys, in this segment, each week, we all name a cigar that we smoked recently that was notable to us. Now, obviously, you guys are smoking mostly your own stuff. But if you get a chance to jump outside of, cigars that are from your own brands, is there anything you smoked recently that was notable to you? Now, keep in mind, this could be a cigar that's been on the market for decades that you just revisited for the first time in a long time. Or it could be a cigar that's brand new to the market that you tried for the first time ever. So Manny, it could be anything. What's something you smoked recently that really stood out to you?
Well, the one I smoked, that was like 3 weeks ago. I got a gift from a friend. I smoked the Damaso Padron.
Oh, yeah.
The one with the Connecticut wrapper.
Mhm.
Usually, when I have a cigar, any other brand that has Connecticut wrapper, I'm expecting from the beginning that's gonna be, really sour. Not, I won't say bitterness, but not like an impressive smoke. I'd rather have Habano Corojo wrapper for smoking in the morning or during the day. Well, I smoked the cigar Damaso. I was really impressed with that cigar because I wasn't expecting so much complexity in a cigar which has a Connecticut wrapper. I really like it. I might say I will buy that cigar to smoke again.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a solid cigar. I like that cigar.
Yeah, it's funny when that cigar came out, a lot of I heard a lot from people who said they didn't like it at all. And I enjoyed the Damaso quite a bit.
So do I.
Yeah, I agree with Manny that's a really nice one. Gerald, what's something you smoked recently that stood out to you?
The La Polina Nicaraguan Oscuro.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, I quite like that one. It surprised me actually at how smooth it was. Good creaminess. I like the Nicaraguan and Honduran tobaccos that are coming out these days. They're really nice.
Yeah. Raul, what's something you had recently on your notable list?
Well, I had it last night with you.
Which
it's a dog rocket, but I just love it so much.
A dog rocket, right?
The Karloff by that's why I love that cigar. It just hits my palate, and it seems like it's what 2 years old now, 3 years old now.
2, I think. Yeah,
and it seems to be just getting better and better.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good blend. I agree that there's something about that blend that really mellows nicely in the humidor without losing too much. Yeah. My notable this week was another kind of, I mean, it's a cigar that's still readily available everywhere, but I think the one I have, I'm pretty sure I got it maybe back in 2018 or somewhere in that neighborhood. One of the original release Island Gem cigars, which are from Oscar Valladares makes that blend. And yeah, nice. I knew I had enjoyed it when I tried it, many years ago. And I hadn't smoked one in probably at least 2 or 3 years, and pulled one out of the humidor. I think it was Friday. I'm pretty sure it was Friday. And I thought, wow, yeah, that's a nice blend. Nice blend, good draw. So, Jim Robinson, he's a nice guy. He's a fun guy. So,
I like a lot of Oscar stuff.
Yeah, Oscar does good work. Most definitely. All right. So let's jump into coming attractions. This is some of the cool stuff that we have coming up on How About That Cigar Live in the next few weeks. And that is brought to us by our friends at Hoagland Insurance. And they are excited to serve and educate any new customers and give existing customers a refresher. Whether it's a business policy, auto insurance, home policy, or life insurance, if you are looking for if you are currently insured or just looking for a quote, Tony Hoagland and his team would love to create a personal price plan just for you. Mention How About That Cigar when you make your first appointment, and Tony will have a free cigar just for you. For more information, please call 763-421-4900 or visit ChamplainInsurance.com. All right, next week, October 21st, we have Terrence Riley from Aganorsa Leaf coming on the show. And then closing out the month of October, on October 28th, we have Howard G. from none other than Howard G. Cigars. So first off, I want to say thank you to Manny and Gerald so much for being on the show this evening. It was such a pleasure learning from you guys and getting to know about all the stuff you guys are doing with Freud Cigars, and some of the great, one of the things we love learning about is the history that leads up to the moments that we're in today. So we really appreciate you guys being on the show with us.
Yes, we do.
Thank you. It was a pleasure for us as well.
A ton of fun.
Absolutely. We appreciate you guys. So if you would please let our viewers and listeners know, where is the best place for them to keep up with everything going on with Freud Cigars?
Our Instagram page, Freud Cigar Co., is probably the best because that's what keeps you up to date. But our website is also live and active, and so you can see what retailers in your area are carrying Freud cigars. So there you go.
Fantastic. We really appreciate it, guys.
A lot of fun. Thank you so much, guys. That was really good.
Absolutely. It's been our pleasure having you guys on. We want to especially thank our viewers and listeners, guys. Thank you so much for being with us here on episode 264. You guys are the best part of How About That Cigar Live. We're so grateful every time you watch and listen to the show. And if you do nothing else tonight, before you stop watching How About That Cigar Live, click on all those big, beautiful buttons. You know the buttons.
Appreciate them right there.
All those buttons. Click on all of them, and we really appreciate that. Make sure that you follow us on all the great social media channels out there. You will find us at HBT Cigar. If you have questions for any of us, you can email us on the website directly. You will find us there on the website on the website howaboutthatcigar.com. Did you have one more thing? You breathed in like you were about to say something.
Yeah, I lost it the moment.
Oh, right.
Thanks, guys. We appreciate that. If you have time, you could watch our interview last night. We were interviewed last night.
Yeah, we were on El Oso Fumar last night with Bear Duplessis. Had a great time talking to him for the evening, and so yeah, definitely go check that out as well. So again, guys, thanks so much for being with us. And guys, for our wonderful audio podcast listeners, guys, thank you so much for being with us. And of course, until we see you guys next time, as always, burn cigars,
not bridges.
Thanks, guys. Any comments, opinions, viewpoints, or statements presented or uttered by guests on the HBTC podcast, HBTC live video streams, and all other media from HBT Media LLC are solely those of the individual and do not necessarily represent the opinions or viewpoints of How About That Cigar or its parent company, HBT Media LLC, any of our advertising partners, or the premium cigar industry. The primary purpose of How About That Cigar is to entertain and to encourage activity and growth within the community of people who enjoy or want to learn about the enjoyment of premium cigars.